The new singer of Linkin Park is already talking about quitting the band over Backlash.
Made a career off of his death and his life.
When I first listened to Linkin Park, it was like my favorite album.
Emily was born into a fanatical Scientology upbringing. Before either of Danny Masterson's 2 trials, Emily showed up at the courthouse as kind of part of his posse.
The band Linkin Park think they could replace their lead singer Chester even though he took his life back in 2017. Band member Mike has been determined to replace him, and they decided to choose someone from a celebrity cult, despite Chester's son speaking out. This is a messy and dark situation, so let's get into it. Now, I did not anticipate making a video about Linkin Park, but they did it to themselves. Last week, the band Linkin Park announced their return 7 years after the frontman Chester died by taking his own life. We all know and love Linkin Park, so they're difficult to replace. But they decided to come back with 2 new members, a drummer named Colin and a singer named Emily, who shares lead vocals with existing bandmate Mike. Now, we all love a good return, but there's a problem when it comes to one of their new bandmates. We all know about Danny Masterson. We've covered him before on this channel and how he was convicted of R-wording someone. Well, it looks like she, Emily Armstrong, has ties to the Church of Scientology. That cult, that celebrity cult that we discovered Sabrina Carpenter is a part of. And she's also supported nasty Danny Masterson. Emily later issued a statement distancing herself from Danny, stressing that she did not condone any of the things he was accused of, which is a great way for her to try to save face. Let's hear a little bit from Emily so you guys can get a vibe of who she is.
When I first listened to Linkin Park, like Hybrid Theory, was like my favorite album. And I was starting bands at the time. I was in a band. And that was the moment where I was like, I want to sing and scream. You know, one step closer, I was like, I could do that. You know, and at the time I wasn't even a good singer. I was a guitar player in a band, you know, and I just loved being in a band. And I was like, I could do that. So of course, you know, it gets to this point and just being like, this is crazy, you know? In that fact where it's like, I would have never imagined, you know? So there's definitely that.
Not the background giving me that like Scientology blue color they always use. Now it turns out that they've been trying to plan a comeback for a while, but it's hard to replace their original singer because he has such a distinct sound. So they had to try out several new singers to see who had the right chemistry. Emily was first invited to a 3-day tryout in 2019, but it wasn't until this time last year that she began recording with the band in earnest. And it must be her scream that she was alluding to in that interview that really did it for them as well, because she's got it perfected. And I must acknowledge she does have a distinct voice. Here's a clip of the original band. Okay, so we get the vibe, and now listen to her voice. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, she's got a very interesting voice. This person commented, this is 100% a cash grab. You can't replace the main singer of a band once they pass. Another person added, all I can think is how Chester would feel that this is what the band turned out to become. I'm furious. Another person added, as a big Linkin Park fan, it's a no for me. Another person wrote, Linkin Park died with Chester. It doesn't look like they're trying to respond to any of the criticism surrounding Emily and the fact that she's trying to replace Chester. Though Jamie, Chester's son, posted on Instagram slamming the return of Linkin Park, in particular the original founder Mike for choosing Emily as the band's singer. He said that Mike quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time by including Emily in the band. It looks like Jamie and Mike have gone at it before because he included this. I'd mention you, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say, so this will have to do. So he must have some prior beef with Mike, and it's probably really sensitive because it involves his father's legacy. Jamie said that Mike and the other Linkin Park band members have betrayed his trust and failed to address the concerns of their diverse fan base. He said that Mike is senile and deaf, saying nobody told me Linkin Park was coming back. Nobody offered to have me in the conversation. Again, it's not like he's the singer, so I don't know. Does he deserve to be a part of the conversation? I mean, I think he at least deserves a notice, right? Here's a clip of Jamie talking about the situation himself.
Let me tell you something. Mike's not your guy. No, he's not. Linkin Park isn't family, it's a business venture. Mike Shinoda is not a brother or an uncle. He is a business partner. Specifically, a business partner of my father's, who made a career off of his death and his life. So we're going to have to check him. Because that's what we do, right? When we have integrity. We suss out the bullshit and we bring it to the surface.
Comments like these prompted Brent Smith, lead singer of the hard rock band Shinedown, to come to Linkin Park's defense, writing something to think about. Do you honestly believe the members of this iconic band truly think, of all people, Chester is replaceable? The entire world knows that he will never be replaceable because he was one of a kind. But with that all being said, there's an audience that missed that band and their presence and what they represent. So I ask you, all of you, give them the opportunity to not close their chapter, allow them to celebrate their legacy, and allow this opportunity to create a new one. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, especially if you're a fan of this band. But I want to dive a little bit more into Emily. Now, when Danny went to trial, she was asked to defend him, and she was quoted saying, "I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance, and she misjudged him." Danny's accuser wrote to Emily, "If you're not going to speak out against human and child trafficking, quote, in which you are a part of and enabling." So it's not even about like, covering Danny. It's a bigger picture. She's enabling this entire institution that allowed this to go on. You guys can pause and read if you want to, but essentially she's going on to expose what Scientology is all about. And her being a part of this institution and joining Linkin Park is scary.
The internet was reminded that in 2020, before either of Danny Masterson's 2 trials, Emily showed up at the courthouse as kind of part of his posse. And according to Cedric Bixler, whose wife was one of the Jane Does in the Masterson trial, he also used to be a Scientologist and personally knows Emily. He says that Danny Masterson's crew surrounded and intimidated the Jane Does at court that day. In part 2, I'm going to read you Cedric's actual post. It is spicy. But her career is going to be over before it even started if she doesn't publicly condemn this man, don't you think? If she still supports Danny Masterson now, she could take Linkin Park down with her.
Now, Emily did respond. "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air on something that happened a while back.
We just had to kind of
Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered
obviously not knowing what tomorrow would bring. It's just, it could really
let's define
mess with you. But
so
I think we
don't even really know the guy in the cult. Just made you go
we got
to
the
show
approval
face
from
to make it
Warner
seem like
to
he
just
had
go ahead and do it on
support.
our.
Emily was born into the church where her parents are prominent members. Her mother is Gail Armstrong, a former Scientology spokesperson and a senior consulting editor of the church's magazine Freedom. Wow. Emily was also pictured at their gala for their 44th anniversary in 2013. She's never publicly commented on her relationship with the church, but that says it all to me. Now, there are some rifts between Emily and the church, allegedly, because she does identify as queer, which is something the church does not accept. Dead Sarah was a band that Emily was a part of, and in this band, she wrote about some things that seemed like she was going against the church. Again, it's very difficult to go against them. You pretty much lose your entire family, so I don't fully think that she's out of it, but I'm sure the church wouldn't be happy with these kind of lyrics.
Emily Armstrong, the lead singer of Dead Sarah, a rock and roll band from Los Angeles. Now, what you might not know is that this whole band is made up of second-generation Scientologists. Emily was born into a fanatical Scientology upbringing. She was born into the Sea Org, meaning her parents were part of Scientology's clergy. They signed billion-year contracts to work for Scientology, and she was just born into this. She was brought up like this in a pseudo-military-esque, formatory group style. Policy stated only 1 hour per week family time, little access to education. There are lawsuits right now alleging things like human trafficking, forced child labor. This is serious cult upbringing. This is fanatical Scientology childhood.
I am too ready for the fall of this church. I don't know if it will happen in my lifetime, but at least there is like available resources for people to realize what they're up to. And I am definitely going to be looking at Linkin Park differently after this video. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.